Joining us tonight is Congressman Greg Walden. His district includes a wildlife refuge currently occupied by a group of protesters. Congressman Walden serves on the Energy and Commerce Committees, chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee as well. And Congressman, great to have you here. I know these are difficult times for you, for the folks that are in Kearney, in the county, on the Hammond family. I want to say to you what you said last night on the floor of the House, in my opinion, did more to set the record straight on the conflicts are there and how the history of those conflicts between the government management agencies like the Bureau of Reclamation, the Bureau of Land Management, the Interior Department, and ranchers. And I just want to salute you for that. I've been very critical of the congressional delegation, the senators from Oregon, for not stopping this deal. But you gave all of us some hope that reason and some considerable power is going to be brought to bear here in behalf of the Hammond family.
You know, thank you, Lou. And I hope if people want the full text, they can go to your website or wherever and see the comments. I had intended to give about a 5-minute speech, and frankly, about 20 years of standing up for these people in Eastern Oregon flooded over me, and I went almost half an hour.
Right.
What I was trying to say was, look, what the...
Well, it was a terrific half hour. I'm going to say that, too.
Oh, yeah. What the protesters, how they've gone about this, they've gone over the line. They really have.
Right.
But what they've done is allow this issue to get to the national and international level where we can finally have a discussion about the overarching, overreaching, often arrogant federal government's mismanagement, lack of management of these federal lands where we have these enormous fires.
Let me boil down a few of some of what you're saying to a few words. Amanda Marshall, U.S. Attorney, she's gone.
Right.
She's the one who came back demanding that the appellate court overturn the sentences of both Dwight and Steve Hammond. She is, I mean, I think the woman should be investigated. I think she should be prosecuted for what she did to two American citizens. And I'm going to say further that the prosecution team should also, in my opinion, be investigated. This is such a lack of ethics. The trial judge, as you know, stood up and said 3 months and 1 year, and he thought you could tell from reading, at least I could, from reading the transcript, he even thought that was extraordinarily punitive. And then for the appellate court to come back and slam people who were doing burns on their land and the federal land that they had grazing rights to is obscene.
And just to put it in perspective for your viewers, Harney County, Oregon, population 7,000, one person for every 1.41 square miles. It is a landmass larger than the entire state of Maryland. This is high desert plateau, very, very few people out there. So it wasn't like they were lighting a sagebrush fire, going up a ravine in Los Angeles and burning homes, which, by the way, the judge cited and said, had that been the case, the 5-year mandatory minimum sentence prescribed by federal law under the statute, which a jury convicted them, would have made sense. In this case, he said it was 8th Amendment violation. It was wrong. We need to change the statute.
Need to change the statute. And this president, and you know, I got to be honest with you, I can't even imagine this president giving enough of a damn to do the right thing. The right thing is not what happens in this White House.
Wait, Lou. I wanted to say that you're right in terms of the pardon and the clemency, although we should appeal for some relief here. But he does have this ability, Lou. In the neighboring county, same type of folks, same type of ranching culture and lifestyle. He is threatening, we're told, but they won't be open about it, to declare a new national monument and lock up 2.5 million acres without any public involvement. He could help dampen this down by saying, I'm not going to do that. I promise you I won't, and then not do it. If he doesn't,
Congressman, this president, I have to say to you, we're in the final hours of this presidency, and this man is showing every day what he is and what he is not. And what he is not is a compassionate and reasonable person who would care about the rights of those two ranchers. I can't even imagine him giving a whit.
Here's the other thing that his agencies could do. In order for these ranches to really survive, they own 6,000 acres, the Hammond ranches.
The Hammond family, yeah.
But they need it, but because this is so sparse country and it's not the lush green sort of Willamette Valley, Oregon, most people think of. This is high desert plateau. They lease other ground from the federal government and they pay for it. Those leases need to be reinstated so that Susie Hammond, the wife of Dwight Hammond, who is, in her 70s, alone on a ranch, or at least, her husband and son are gone now, can continue to ranch and survive. She does not need the extra punishment of having the grazing leases taken away as well.
Here's what should happen. Here's what should happen, in my opinion, Congressman. You and the rest of the congressional delegation ought to be on the phone to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Oregon. You should be intervening in this case, and anyone who says it's a criminal case and that's inappropriate is a damn fool. Because the reality here is these are two men who are in jail, and it is every minute they spend in jail is an injustice, and it is one that should not be tolerated in this country.
Now, Lou, I'm not an attorney. I was a journalism major. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. This has already been appealed to the Ninth Circuit and to the U.S. Supreme Court, who refused to take it. The Ninth Circuit said, no, you have to impose the statutory 5-year
Well, they're
minimum.
damn fools. And it's about time people, whether they're attorneys or not, whether you're a congressman or a senator, it's time for people in this country to talk straight. They're damn fools, and they don't give a damn about 2 American citizens. And it's got to stop, and it's got to stop soon, because this is so outrageous, so obviously outrageous.
The other piece of this is, and I talked about this in my speech, in this county in 2000, Bill Clinton threatened a monument. We said, stop, we'll write legislation. We did. Then the federal agencies...
And it worked, and Congressman, I can't go through it. We've got to take a break here. What Congressman Walden was about to tell you is the Bureau of Land Management and other agencies absolutely tried to screw up everyone in his district. He stopped it, at least most of it. Thank you, Congressman. We'll be taking it up later.